Welcome back to the Culture in Cannabis podcast. I am one of your hosts, Full-Time Tony, here with the one and only JC Coates. JC, how we doing today?
We're doing good, bro. We're doing good. I'm messing with a jar of weed over here. Let me put it away.
Just messing with a jar of weed.
Just messing with a jar of weed, you know. How's the Full-Time Tony today?
It's been a day, bro. It's been a rough day, honestly. I'm not gonna lie, but you know what? This is the life I chose.
You're not complaining, are you?
I'm not complaining.
Okay.
I'm just telling you, it is what it is.
Okay.
It's some days are great, some days suck. You know, you just gotta roll the punches.
What are you getting out of the whole deal? I mean,
I'm getting
because it's an exchange, right?
Yeah, I'm going to do exactly what the fuck I want to do.
Hey, man.
No one's telling me how to do it. It's just unfortunate that I'm the only person that big. I can't go anybody and say, hey, what should I do about this? They're just like, well, this is what you do.
Yeah, well, you know, that is the life you chose.
Yeah, this is the life I chose. You know, I don't know why I chose this life, but I did.
Here's the thing. It sounds like it's really rough, but I do not feel sorry for you.
No one should feel sorry for me, honestly. The only person that feels sorry for me is myself.
I am proud of you, though. I am proud of you, though.
No, I appreciate that. No, I'm you know, we're gonna get through this.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes life likes to, you know, when it rains it pours.
Yes.
It's fucking pouring outside, dog. Like it's been pouring for like a whole week, and they were like, no, we're just gonna end it with a hailstorm today. So it's all good though. I go out of town tomorrow, which I'm excited about. I'm gonna go see some of my beautiful friends in Denver, Colorado, and they're actually in Fort Collins. Mm-hmm. I'm going to try to connect with some cannabis people while I'm out there as well. Nice. Make some work out of it as well. I'm going to go see Group Love, so I'm super excited about that. But enough about me and my fucking problems.
Yeah.
We have a great guest today.
We do have a good guest.
Who we got, JC?
You know, listen. You know, we meet so many people along our cannabis journeys, right? We go all over the place, you know, through social media, all the events and stuff. Every now and then we meet some very special people, right? We have one of my friends in studio today. He's the founder and the creator of, I believe, and we're going to get into this. He's going to fact check me on all this. Is the longest running home delivery cannabis service in California. It was founded in Halloween 2010. Joe Reed of Cali Care is in the building today. Joe, how are you?
Man, I'm great, JC. Yeah. Thanks, Tony, JC, for having me here. I've been really hesitant to do any type of podcast and all this shit that kind of comes with. I can cuss on this, right?
Yes, yeah, you can do whatever the fuck
any kind
you
of
want.
shit that comes with, you know, media and PR and stuff. But you know, after knowing you guys for some time and stuff, and checking out the podcast multiple times, I felt super comfortable.
Yeah. Why did you feel uncomfortable?
Well, you know, I'm not like old school cannabis, but I'm like old enough cannabis to.
I'm gonna say you're old school cannabis.
Yeah,
I'm old school
on that. Yeah, I'm old school cannabis. 11 years in, and like, you know, I was doing this shit. I tell people I was doing this shit before it was cool. You know what I mean? And you know, you go to a barbecue and you talk about, you know, you sold weed for a living, and it was kind of like a taboo situation. So like to bring it kind of into the light, and you know, we have a lot of cool things kind of, you know, media related. You know, coming up, I wanted to kind of kick this whole thing off with like you guys, you know what I mean, and you know, some friends.
Nice.
And you know, I just like checking out the podcast, and it wasn't corny or fucking dumb. You know what I mean? I'm saying like, hey, you know, this would be a cool start for like, you know, I'm doing 2 more podcasts, like more heavy metal related podcasts, kind of talk about music and cannabis, but this was the one I wanted to kind of start the whole podcast tour thing with, for sure.
Nice.
That's great. I love. Sorry, I just wanted to make a point. I love that you brought up the point of like when you're at a barbecue, how it used to be taboo, right, about being in cannabis. Now it's like literally like you're being in like tech, like, you know, early tech. But oh yeah, I'm in tech. No big deal. Now when I go to a barbecue, I'm like, I'm in cannabis. Like, oh, you're in cannabis.
Everybody wants to.
You get cornered, right?
You definitely. You're like, oh, so tell me more. And, or they want to know, like, okay, so I have this issue. You think cannabis will help it?
Jesus Christ. Somebody told me the other day that they had brittle fingernails and if weed could help. I was like, I don't know. Order a bunch of it from Cali Care Group and tell me how it works. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting how it's all kind of flipped. And I mean, you know, but yeah, I mean, when you started this stuff, there wasn't like the podcast, and people weren't like broadcasting it, and there wasn't a lot of branding and marketing in the cannabis world. But tell us, what is Cali Care? Kind of what, you know, tell us kind of how it got started and kind of that 10-year or plus journey that you've had a little bit.
Well, shit. It's not the most glamorous story. That, you know, I meet a lot of people in the industry, and they kind of grew up with their parents growing cannabis, and then they started growing cannabis. It was like this family legacy. Well, the irony in the whole situation is that before I got into cannabis, like other than like smoking weed and stuff like that, you know, through high school, I didn't even let people smoke weed at my house. Because it was more of that thing, I didn't want my son to start smoking weed, and then someone looked at my son as like some weird stoner kid, and you know what I mean? And I just had this whole like preconceived notion on like what stoners were, because I was such a heavy stoner myself, you know what I mean? And so, you know, I actually got sick and got laid off from a job because I was sick, and you know, I needed to do something with my savings, and here I'm kind of sitting there, you know, I'm kind of a, you know, full-time dad. I have a house to pay for, and I didn't know what to do. And so I had a buddy of mine that worked for a dispensary doing home delivery, and he said, hey, you're smarter than my bosses. You should start a dispensary, like a delivery service. And I'm like, let me get this shit straight, because I hadn't smoked for so long. I said, so you can order weed and get that shit delivered to the house and not go to jail. And I said, shit, like I would like miss my calling. Maybe I should never went to college. So, you know, I was like, this is like an ice cream truck. So anyways, I started a small delivery service. Like we kind of parlayed that into a store for a short period of time. And it was originally, the name of California Care Group was, I was so naive about the weed industry being kind of underground to where I didn't really do any fact checking on names and shit. So I actually named it Reliable Medical Solutions. And we were open for, you know, a couple months, and then a wheelchair company out of Texas called me. So, and that was the first time I'd heard about what a cease and desist was. You know what I mean? I was like, shit, well, we got to come up with something. I want care in the name, because we really do care about people. And it's like, so this long story short is like, I started it kind of out of desperation on needing to do something. And it was really just a commodity for me at the time. And then I started realizing, as I'm making deliveries and these sick people were being helped with cannabis, I was like a light bulb went off. I'm like, all this shit I was taught in college and everything was just all wrong, you know? Yeah. And that weed actually, cannabis was actually a medicine, you know? Mm-hmm. And then, you know, it was weird because I was going through my cancer shit, you know, because that's how I got laid off. I found I had cancer, got laid off from a job, which was a whole other, you know, podcast in itself. And then I got into this, and I still didn't believe in the medicine of cannabis going through chemo and radiation. And it was weird. It was just a commodity. And it was really like I started seeing all these people that were being helped with cannabis. And then it became more of almost like a calling. Like I felt like an asshole if I was to have actually shut down at that point, because that's when a lot of Southern California dispensaries and delivery services were really just, you know, kind of trapping, you know what I mean? They were not really, they were just delivering weed in baggies, and they didn't really give a shit, and the quality of the product wasn't there. And it was amazing, just like even like I started this right around the time Dab started, and to see that, like, do you remember like that almost like heroin looking like shit that people were smoking back then?
It's called
like,
poop soup.
Yeah, I was gonna say poop soup. Yeah. It's like, man, I was like, are you sure that this butane filled shit is actually gonna help some cancer? Like, you know what I mean? It's like I had questions even back then. So it started kind of with just the idea that, like, if I was gonna put care group into the name, I needed to like come correct with that shit, right? Like I couldn't like say like, oh, we care about people and we have care in the name, and then like have 3-star reviews on Weed Maps and shit, you know what I mean? Right. So we so I guess, you know, just kind of fast forward, like, you know, we just kind of got our hands into a little bit of everything. You know, we are, from what I can tell, and this is, you know, me, I probably need to do some fact checking too, but we were told by Weed Maps recently, our guy, that we are the longest running home delivery. I mean, there's dispensaries that have been around longer than us that offer home delivery, but we are the longest running home delivery service in California now. And that's kind of crazy, because it's like the 11 years has just kind of went by, you know what I mean? It's just there.
That is crazy.
And we still give a shit. We care. We actually really give a shit. Like, we'd rather, destroy a product than put it out into the market. You know what I mean? And that's like, and a lot of people really can't say that even in the new regulated market.
So let's talk about that regulated market for a minute, right? And so, all the states, when they're legal, they have different nuances, right? And they're all kind of different. But California had this whole time period where it was the Prop 215 days and shit was kind of wild, right? So you guys were kind of right in the middle of that. And so let's talk about the licenses that are available in California that you can get, right? You get the retail license, you get the cultivation license, the distribution license, and the production license, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the final one that you have with Cali Care Group, which I know that you have all of them, right? But which is the delivery service license, right? What kind of license? What is that license called?
Yeah, so we have God, we have our hands in a little bit of every one of the licenses you mentioned, and then there's like a second layer to some of those licenses, because when you talk about just extraction alone, you're talking about volatile, non-volatile, type 6, type 7, and without, boring your listeners, there's a lot of different licenses, but you kind of mentioned kind of all of them. The license that we primarily use for Cali Care Group itself, now we're partners, and I'm part owner of multiple things in the cannabis industry, but Cali Care Group is always going to be my baby because that's what started. We're a non-storefront retailer, and so the biggest difference is that we obviously don't have to keep a security guard on site. The biggest difference is, we don't have to keep a security guard on site. We don't have to keep necessarily a vault for all of our product, because each car essentially is kind of set up like an ice cream truck. That like comes in and gets hubbed every evening, and so we have the easiest way to explain it is imagine if you had smaller versions of ice cream trucks with cannabis that go out on the route pretty much and deliver legally. There's obviously like a lot of guidelines and things.
So let's talk about some of the guidelines, right? So okay, I have the delivery license. What are you smiling about, Tony?
I'm sorry, Rick caught me right as I was about to yawn, and then he switched the camera.
So I have a delivery license, and let's say I don't have a license to grow or do any of the other licenses. Where do I get my material from?
Well, you would get that. So the pass through would be that there's a cultivator. Obviously, the cultivator cultivates, and then whether they have the distribution license or not, or they partner with a distributor, is that the distributor would pick up. Essentially, once the flower is tested, the distributor would pick it up, hub it at their distribution. And then through distribution, it would be passed through to the retailer. And that's either a drop off that you guys are probably very familiar with, where the distributor is dropping off to the retailer, the brick and mortar, or essentially our office, because we have home delivery hubs actually, where the product would be dropped off there. Then it would be essentially put into our POS and then spit out through retail. So there is a process. It's really, whether you're an extractor or a cultivator, you make your product, and then that gets passed to distribution. That's the legal way to do it, and then through distribution goes into retail.
Nice. Man,
That was a lot of information. I didn't realize there was different sub-licenses within each license, which makes it probably way more difficult.
Yeah.
Because California, when it comes to cannabis, like in my head, just seems like a mess.
Well, it's just a big state, right? And all this stuff. It's overwhelming. It definitely is overwhelming. So, like, for you to be successful with that license, have you had to acquire other licenses to couple with it to make that one license, the business profitable?
I'd say the easiest way to explain it is it's not necessarily like taking on the full burden myself or just ourselves, but it's partnering with strategic partners that are already somewhat are successful in that space. I quickly realized during the regulated market that even though we were vendors in a sense in the 215 market, that we weren't going to be successful distributors if we were trying to balance distribution and retail at the same time. Mm-hmm. We kind of wanted to stay in our skill sets. So instead, I partnered with some distributors. We work with some distributors and kind of let them, do their job. Now that changes, again, without going into, crazy detail on what our business model is, in the next year or so here, we're going to change it. We're going to be completely vertical. Everything will be in-house because we feel that we have the team that's kind of grown into that position. But in the beginning, in the regulated, as I call shit market that California was openly, we couldn't do everything because the rules were changing. So if you had 3 or 4 different licenses, those rules on those licenses were constantly changing. And so we had to kind of stick to what we knew, and that at the time was retail. And now it's we, what are we, about 6 years into the regulated market, is that we understand that, we're strong enough to where we literally just do all this shit ourselves. There's no real reason to now do it, anything outside of what we're, our in-house.
Nice. That's that process life, right? That's what happens when you stay committed, right? Get on the path. And
it's dumb, the shit that we've had to do to not only stay regulated, but or under regulation, but just to grow the business without, the raping and the taxes and the pillaging that California decides to do. It's we've learned to just change direction and pivot very quickly.
Yeah.
In the last 6 years, it's crazy. And now it's it's just so fucking natural. If everything went smooth, it'd fucking almost be boring now. You know what I mean?
right.
Like, and nothing's ever smooth in cannabis.
Never. Is it smooth? Are things going smooth right now?
No,
with
my
business?
life is just rocky consistently, but I enjoy the rocks.
I mean, if it ain't hard, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, if it's not sharp and edgy, you know,
Yeah. I
don't sign me up.
It's crazy,
Shit.
man. So, all right. So let's talk about, and we don't have to get really into this, right? But like you're kind of a unique. You were tapped by the Nevada cannabis industry when it became legal from California. I think.
Yeah, it was a fucking weird situation.
People tapped you in, right?
Yeah,
You
it
want
was
to talk
weird.
about how that kind of went down?
So I moved to Vegas
Tapped.
because essentially I'm out here for, what the fuck was it, a wedding, bachelor party, it was something. And I ran, and I'm not going to mention any names because first off, I can't. But I was tapped by a buddy of mine that is he's a former lawyer. And he said, hey man, like, you're the expertise, like come out here. We could start home delivery first. We could, and I drank a lot back then. I'm proud to say I don't do shit like this and make decisions. So I kind of uprooted my whole life, spent like $80,000 relocating to Vegas to take on like another partnership. And then about 6 months into that shit, probably about 6 weeks into that partnership, I was kind of regretting my decision, but I'm a gamer, right? And so I'm trying to balance the crazy ass unregulated market of Nevada, because this was before it was even, I don't even remember if it was medical, but it was like odd, like I would try to meet like Vegas vendors and it's like, it was just a weird, like, well, it was, I don't know, like it was like we were going into the medical market, but we're still kind of in this weird like gray market, and I wasn't even used to that. So I felt like I went from the Wild West of California to the Wild Wild West of Nevada, where I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where are you getting this weed? It's all coming from California, and it's like, I didn't want nothing to do with going to jail and shit. So I was like, what did I move to Vegas for? But then we get up and going, we're completely regulated, and then like that relationship didn't work out, like more by my choice than anybody else's. And so then I parlay that into another relationship that eventually proved to be, somewhat lucrative, because then I was bought out of the second relationship, and I was fine. And now it's like, I still do some consulting here. I'm still technically partner. I'm technically on the board of a dispensary group here, but as I was just telling somebody right now is that I'm never even at the office. I don't even have a chair there. Because it's like there's no reason. California is my baby. I've been fortunate enough because of cannabis to open other businesses. So Nevada kind of keeps me. I'll never move back to California full time because I just love Vegas. But the idea that I'll actually be a full-on owner of a dispensary or even like the majority owner of something in a cannabis brand in Nevada is kind of scary to me, because I have so much going on with California Care Group right now. Yeah, and I can't. You can't do. I can't be the CEO of two companies essentially.
Right. Comes down to like a happiness issue at the
absolutely.
end of the day, right? It's crazy to hear your story, right? And because I think about my partner sitting over here, Anthony, and he's a youngster, right? And it's like I'm thinking about the path that we're on. All the things that you've been able to create, right? And it's like, geez, what's going to happen, dude, in 10 years from now, right? It's like, you know what I mean? It's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what's really cool. And I think it's what's exciting for a lot of people in the cannabis industry, all the opportunity and, the new things that can happen. So, I mean, listen, let's talk about what that means for you, right? So you're kind of at, so you've had Cali Care for 10 years, just to sum it up really quick. You've kind of, made a bunch of relationships, started having, or getting the other licenses to run your businesses.
And some cash, made relationships
and some cash,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And now you're at a point where we want to bring all those licenses under one roof. And kind of bring it all full circle to where you're doing the full seed to sale thing, right? Is that what's happening? You want to kind of describe
Absolutely.
that situation?
So I guess you could say sum it up is that we went through a really weird partnership deal on a building about almost a year ago, where I was almost evicted out of the building, not by nothing that I did, by the way, by another tenant that was in the building. We were almost evicted out, and that would have essentially put our license at risk. So I was actually raising, I shouldn't even say raising, like I was putting together the money to basically buy out those partners. And then it dawned on me, and I'm like, well, what the fuck? Like, I've worked real hard for a decade, basically, like, let's just go all in and fuck it. I brought in an actual partner that's amazing. you know, that said like, yeah, let's do this shit. Like, you know, I have some expertise in properties and you have expertise in cannabis, and let's really fucking hit the ground running and do this vertical thing. And we plan to be growing a lot of boutique flower under our roof, our building, nothing leased. We can control the genetics. We have a relationship. This same partner that I have has a relation. Well, he owns a production lab, you know, so that's kind of getting folded into the relationship. You know, so we'll have everything but brick and mortar, even though the ordinances where we're moving we're allowed to open a brick and mortar with our license that we applied for. We're waiting for the city's really backed up. We're waiting for local approval, and we're going to hit the ground running there. You know, so we own the building. We have pretty much the construction lined up. We have everything. We have every single line filled out, every I dotted, T crossed, and we're ready to hit the ground running. We'll be completely vertical company, and with the idea that if we want to, we can open a brick and mortar there too. Right. But it's just not really in our foreseeable future.
That's crazy, man. I mean,
that's the dream, bro.
I mean, it is the dream, right? Yeah, and hopefully, man, if this stuff all works out, we'll be over there working with you.
Oh, 100%. Right? So I was just actually talking about you guys today with someone else. I'm kind of under an NDA, but when you find out who it is that we got verbal with today, it's fucking great. Like, it's great company, company. And it's just pretty exciting that the conversation was so smooth, and we pretty much, you know, got off the phone kind of all like, well, shit, this was easier than I thought. And it's a big name in the cannabis industry, really well known with respect, not just like, you know, no offense, but not just a musician or an actor or somebody that's putting their name on something that carries some weight in the industry that, you know, I'm going to be super honored to work with. And I think between that group, you guys, and like another, potentially not even like another group, I think we're going to be moving some quality product out of there. Yeah. And I'm super excited about like the relationship, because my thing in this, I've gotten to a point now where like I purposely only work with people I want to work with. Like it's crazy to say, like my assistant laughed at me the other day and she's like, you don't even care about the law these days because you just send a lawyer to court. I'm like, well, I do obviously give a shit about the law, but the thing is yeah, I do business with who I want to do business with, not because I have to do business with them. And doing business with you guys is going to be exciting, you know what I mean, on that level. I know it's taking a little longer get off the ground, but I was just telling the last group too, I said, but if we do this right, we're not going to have to go back and rearrange things and rework things. It'll be done properly, you know?
Yeah. No, that's great. It's exciting. You ready to go to California, Tony?
So ready, bro. I mean, you know, I think California Tony is like ready to go put his gut out on the beach. You feel me? Like, put my shades on, go out there, let my chest hair hang out.
No, our property's nowhere near the beach, but
that's okay.
I'll visit you.
As long as there's some
Airbnb.
Yeah, we'll be at the Airbnb. We'll come through. It's gonna be great. I'm really excited about it, and the product that you guys brought for us today looks absolutely phenomenal.
Let's look at it.
Some of our in-house flower. I don't even remember what strain.
This is Mandarin cookies.
I told my son who works in production with us, I was like, just put something that you would call fire.
You can't see that, but it looks really fucking good.
I love the texture on that, or the structure on that.
Look at that smell. Let me see. Look at that smell.
That looks great. Yeah. It smells great too. Ooh, nice and crispy. Nice and, you know, Nevada weed is, I'm sorry, it's just so dry. You know what I mean?
When we were in Oklahoma last time, I was like, whoa, what the fuck happened? Who came here and make the weed all better?
Whoa, right? You ain't shit, bro.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's funny.
We went out there last October and it was like,
whoa, what the fuck is this? And then this year it was like, whoa, like you guys, like aliens came down and said, all right, here's some new genetics.
I mean, yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I think we met the right people.
That's true.
Kind of knew where to go. But
That's true.
Those first times, man,
that's
was crazy.
awesome.
But yeah, I love the different moisture content, right, and the different structure and the different smells of the cannabis in the different states.
It's just so crazy how every state is so different when it comes to the cannabis. Like, Nevada is dry, so it's all the weed here is dry as fuck. You know, so it's like, but that's just what it is, right? Yeah. But with that, we have across, compared to Oklahoma, have crazy high terpene profiles. Yes. Compared to Oklahoma, but then you go to California or Colorado, and then they're just like they take the cake.
I have a theory about that.
Oh, let's hear it.
In Nevada, a lot of people have said that they're like terpene profiles are better here. You know, what I mean, some of the genetics is even better, even though it's drier. It's like when you can't make up for one shit area that you have, like the weather here is dry.
Yeah.
You know, moisture content's horrible. Is that you like almost have to like, it's almost like when you lose your eyesight, like your hearing gets better. You have to make it better in that area. Like you have to focus on what you can control, the controllables, right? And that's like making sure that your terpenes are, making sure that you're making up for, okay, you got dry weed, but it'll still get you stoned. You know what I mean? Like it's got to come correct on the other levels, you know? That's how I feel. Because sometimes I think that that's missed. You have a really good looking weed in California, but it's almost shit weed. You know what I mean? You look at it, terpene profiles are horrible. Maybe people are almost selling the aesthetics of the weed in California because they're used to being quote unquote Cali weed. You know what I mean? And so you can get away with that shit there.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's interesting. Well, listen, you know, before we let you go, I want to dive into some of the other projects that you're working on that really interest me, and I have just like a ton of admiration and respect for. And I don't know all about it, so why don't you kind of like dive into it for us? But you have, I think it's the Raised by Wolves project that you have on Instagram, and just tell us about it. What is it?
So Raised by Wolves is just, you know, I was like a major knockdown like whiskey drinker, you know, 4 or 5 days a week kind of guy, you know, and I used to talk shit and say that, you know, my 50% was better than everyone's 100, so I just got away with being an asshole basically and buying the bar out. And so I got sober, and the guy that helped me get sober, we started talking about like, you know, how a lot of people get sober off alcohol and drugs and shit like that by using cannabis and CBD and other items like kava, which is a root that I started drinking. It's made into like a tea, and you know, you drink it. And then there's even like what's up and coming and will eventually be like decriminalized is like psilocybin, you know, mushrooms and stuff. And so to taking all of these things and backing it by science that's already being performed for years, you know, years now, that's just coming to light with all these different products, is that, you know, you can help a person with mental illness, you know, depression, sleep disorder, I mean, a woman's cramps, I mean, you know, back pains, and more importantly, addiction, because I hold that, you know, close to my heart, because, you know, I grew up in a family with addiction, and, you know, even though I talk shit about people on drugs for years, I was obviously an addict, and I had to get sober myself. And so this Raised by Wolves, it's actually, I mean, if you mind me plugging it, like it's on Instagram. It's at RZDXWLVS, so it's abbreviated, Raised by Wolves. And it's a project that, you know, we're about to kick off. We're going through like the legal phases on what we can and can't do, because we don't want to obviously prescribe these things, because you can't really prescribe cannabis right now, for instance, but to back a lot of like behavioral changes and addiction, you know what I mean? Because for years it's just been, you know, you go to AA, you go to NA, and then you get spit out almost into a church program.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Where it's like it's looking at addiction at a different approach. And some of my partners real quick said, you know, are you going to feel comfortable helping treat addiction with technically another substance? And I go, am I going to be comfortable? I fucking sell weed for a living. Are you guys that are doctors going to be comfortable with this? And because you guys are the ones that are bringing the science to the table, I'm just the one producing a product.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so the idea is, without mentioning a lot of names, is we have some really big backers on this that have gotten sober themselves, you know, using cannabis and kava, kratom even, which is another controversial, you know what I mean, product, but it needs to be used right. And let's just face it, anything you can be addicted to anything, right?
Sure.
But this is a project that's really a passion project for me, that's going to be funded a lot by California Care Group, and it really means a lot to me.
I think it's super dope and great. Sometimes I struggle with the word addiction. I like the word obsession better. You know what I mean? Because I get really obsessive about things, and it could look like addiction, right? Addiction just has this like this negative connotation, which, you know, it should or whatever. But I think if, you know, a lot of people can, you know, you can shift, you know, with addiction, right? It's like yes or no, right? It's like black or white, right? But when you use the word obsession or obsessive, right, you can shift your obsessiveness or your obsessive behavior from something negative to something positive, and leverage your problem of obsessiveness to something really beneficial.
Yeah,
you know? So
absolutely. You know, I agree.
And I think a lot of people do that with cannabis, you know. But yeah, man. Listen, thanks for coming on. Before you go, let's plug the rest of what you got going on there, and
Yeah, so I mean, with Cali Care Group, it's pretty simple. It's ilovemyweed.com if you want to check out what we got going on. You know,
Wait.
yeah.
Did you say I love my weed? I love myweed.com.
ilovemyweed.com. Bought that domain 11 years ago,
Good.
and we just had a verified account on Instagram about 6 months ago taken down, which pisses me off still to this day.
What?
But it's now at Care Group Lifestyle. Because Cali Care Group was flagged, it's some bullshit stuff, and and then we got our kava and CBD and stuff like that out here in Vegas is goodlifestyle.com, which is GUUD. So instead of 2 O's, it's GUUD lifestyle.com, and then that's kind of what we got going on.
Nice. Thanks for coming on, dude.
Dude, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys for sure.
That's dope, man. It's as I get older, Tony, like I really get like I'm super interested in these different things that people can take, right? That could help you, right? That's non-traditional. You know what I'm saying? With the things that he talked about. And I think cannabis kind of gets you off of that, but cannabis, the kava. Have you ever had the kava?
I've had the kava many times.
Nice and relaxing, right?
Yeah.
The kratom, kratom helps people get off the opiates, right?
Yeah.
It helps people with your opiate withdrawals, and I don't believe that it's physically addictive either. I could be wrong about that, but
Yeah, I don't know. There's that bunch of mixed feelings on kratom.
yeah.
But I mean, I don't know.
Listen. Do your research, right? Take responsibility for your health and wellness, and look at some alternative options, right?
Absolutely.
But what else is going on, Tony? Before I take us down a whole nother windy path.
Updates are that
Let me help you out.
Okay,
Let me help
thanks.
you out. Okay,
Thanks.
so listen, Oklahoma. We're going to come back to Oklahoma the second week in October. It could be me and Tony. It could be me, Tony, and Joy. It could be just me and Leilani Joy. Right?
I mean, anything's possible at this point.
It is possible, right? But listen, we're coming out the second week in October. Things are getting real, right? We're building a whole new distribution group out there, a whole new people that I can't wait to announce that are some people doing some incredible things in Oklahoma. Hopefully we get them added onto the team. We're going hard with some of our new products we're going to release on the production side of things in Oklahoma, and I'm super pumped about it, Tony.
I'm really excited. I think it's going to be all positive things that are happening out in Oklahoma, and I'm just excited to go see my Oklahomies.
Yeah. And listen, back here in Vegas, we got what's going on in Vegas. I mean,
We just dropped in the biggest dispensary group here in Nevada, Essence Dispensary Group.
Yeah. So
we're now in all the Essences, Rises, and Cookies here in the state of Nevada.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Which
So
is pretty cool.
6 stores, that retail chain, and then the 2 weeks before we picked up the Nevada Made Marijuana.
Shouts out.
So just those 2 groups, right? That's 11 stores.
Yeah,
and then today, Jason.
Shout out Jason, bro.
Jason Garcia, right?
Over at the Source.
At the Source called, and so how many stores do they have?
4, and they have the opportunity, I think, to build like 11.
Yeah. So we crafted, with your help, Tony, we crafted an incredible deal. I think of 100 pounds of full flower. We're going to drop some new strains over there and hit the shelves.
I'm really excited too because all this stuff is from Nameless Genetics.
Yeah.
So if you guys know about Nameless Genetics, they're a pretty legendary Southern California genetics company. This flower was all grown in Northern Nevada, which is near and dear to my heart. So I'm really excited about this stuff. And it's going to be really affordable too, which I'm really happy about.
It's going to be super affordable. All the numbers are going to be as they always are with our products, right? It's going to be great numbers, right? At an affordable price. And listen, all the strains are going to be unique to those stores. So we're really excited about that drop too. So that's like about 15 new stores that we've just entered in over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah. So it's been crazy. And honestly, it's really because of everyone that watches and follows us. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do all this cool stuff. So I really appreciate everyone that's just been a fan, a supporter, a part of our community, friends, family. I mean, it takes a village to raise a baby, bro. And
100%.
we're raising this baby called Culture and Cannabis.
You guys doing a great job.
Thank you, Joe.
I fucking really appreciate your guys' brand. Seriously.
We appreciate you, Joe.
Thanks, man.
But before you go, if you haven't been to our website, you got to go to our website. We have daily articles. We have some incredible contributors in the cannabis industry, write some incredible articles every day. All of our podcasts are archived. Dude, get Canna Smart. Check out our website.
Canna Smart, baby. We also, before we go, we're also going to be throwing a fucking banger here.
Oh, yes.
In October.
Yes.
Oh, what?
Throwing a banger.
Sure, we're gonna throw a banger. I mean,
Should
Joe,
we
you
just
might
announce
want. Joe, we should have not. Go ahead and answer it.
No, you can go. You can go.
Listen, October 21st, MJ Biz, right? The Culture and Cannabis events are coming back. It's going to be the MJ Biz after party at the Sapphire Event Space. Looks like we got Mike Jones is going to headline. All goes well. Angela Mazzanti is going to host. We have a slew of local Vegas heroes when it comes to dancers, b-boys, hosts, DJs. It's going to be an incredible time over there at the Sapphire Event Space.
Yeah, and I was honestly a little concerned about doing it at a gentleman's club, but once we saw the space, it's like completely separated. Like it's a completely separate entrance. It's attached to Sapphire's Gentleman's Club. It's a full event space. So
separate entrance.
Yeah. So if you're not vibing with the whole Gentleman's Club thing, no worries. This is like not a part of this. It's attached to it. So, and if you are vibing with it, great. Come hang out from 8 to 12, and then from 1 o'clock, go hang out with some dancers, bro.
Yeah. Right. And I think, we might have some go-go's.
We're definitely going to have some go-go's. You know what I'm saying?
There's going to be, beautiful people in the room dancing around.
It's going to be a great time. And honestly, dancers here in Vegas are one of the biggest cannabis supporters, bro. I mean, they one of the people that need it the most. So I'm really excited that we're going to be doing this. I think it's going to be great. I think a lot of people on the national level are going to be having a really good time with us.
And I'll just say this, right? I think for many years over MJ BizCon and over Champs, some of these big after parties have been hosted by, out-of-state brands, right? I'm not knocking that or whatever, but, I think this is going to be a refreshing year with one of the groups here from Nevada, right? Repping the state, putting on a proper MJ Biz after party.
And we're gonna have free drinks open bar for the first hour of being there. So you're not gonna want to miss this. It's free entry with your MJ BizCon pass. Hit us up. We also have free discount code tickets, stuff of that nature. If you're in the industry, you get in for free. I mean, it's gonna be a really good time. Yeah. So I'm just really pumped about it. I think it's gonna be a great way to get back into the space. I was just at Life is Beautiful this past weekend, and it's got me all hyped up about throwing culture and cannabis events again. So.
Let's go.
And that's it.
I think that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. So thank you guys so much for watching. This is the Culture and Cannabis Podcast. I am Full-Time Tony. This is JC Coates. We'll see you all next Thursday. Peace.